Well, good evening, everyone. We're here at Borders Books and Cafe in 81st and Gale in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And tonight we're joined once again by National Master Chuck Unruh. Chuck, glad to have you.
Good to be here, Jim.
So we're going to talk about some new positions where people basically can feel like they're robbed. Is what I understand. This is positions where folks are up a piece and they feel like they should win, and they're not gonna, huh?
Well, it looks that way, and it's easy to become complacent, and just a little bit of complacency can take what is an easy win and can produce a half point or even a loss at times.
Okay.
So let's look at our first example here.
Okay, great. Alrighty, so this is our first game we're looking at right here, and let's take a look and see what happens here. King to c4, is that right?
Well, King to c4 was played. Unfortunately, it's a natural looking move, and we're going to deal mostly with bishops here this first 5 minutes or so of this lesson. And it just seems natural, but really anything but King to c4 seems to win. King to d4, King to b3, all those win.
But this loses.
No, it draws.
It
Black
draws.
finds the resource.
I got you.
Now if we play pawn EP.
Yeah. Then the king just gets in, and there's just no way to make this work.
There's no headway. Full bishop, and it's trapped in the corner. This is a classic. But let's go back a little on this and see what happens. If he starts out, instead of playing k to c4, if he plays
king to b4.
King to b4. Now, how do we win on b5? It looks like black also obtains control of the b7 square. Well, he doesn't. So let's go ahead and play. I wouldn't play k. Well, you have to play k to c6, but let's go back one, and let's go into a new variation where he plays b5.
So he plays this one
up.
Okay.
And of course, if king takes the pawn, it's a classic bishop and rook pawn ending.
And there's no way.
And there's no way you can win. But white has a shot here. What white does is play to exclude black from controlling the a8 queen square, but instead of taking the pawn, he goes a6. And now black's locked out of the square.
That's right. There's no entry in there.
No entry, and white will take his time and get around there and win this game.
Oh yeah. Okay. Very nice. Well, let's go back to the first move though that can possibly win, and that's if rather than king to c4, if he plays king to b4 there, then it doesn't really matter at this point because white will be able to step in and also prevent the king from getting in there.
That's correct.
And getting to the corner.
And the bishop's no longer trapped.
Right. Okay. Well, that's what not to do. Let's look at some more examples here. Let's go grab our next game. All right. So in this position, what happens here, Chuck?
White was feeling very, very comfortable. Full piece up. Black's king still on the first rank. Should be easy. Let's go ahead and convert. I guess you get a little lazy, perhaps, and let's try to end it fast and just convert the bishop for the pawn and have the passed knight pawn.
Okay. So the king's going to take back, and now your king's going to step in here, obviously protecting.
And it just doesn't matter. The opposition is not critical here. The pawn on a6 is blocking instead of helping the situation.
Yeah.
And the black king's going to get stalemated.
Well, let's try something different then. Let's try this. Let's try this one. Try to gain some time here.
Right.
But that's really not going to help us, is it?
No, this is one of those odd positions where black finds refuge on a8, b8. And when white steps in, it's just a stalemate. We can change the color of the bishops and it won't help. A full bishop up, and there's nothing to do here. Except to draw, go home, get rest up for the next round.
Okay. Let's grab our next example here then. So we got robbed on those first two. Let's see if we can get something going here.
Oh, this is real robbery. Black's, well, he's really got, white's got two pawns for the bishop, and it looks like black has that outside pawn, and just instantaneously, what would you play? You'd want black here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work out that way.
So black comes in and grabs the pawn, and he's going to grab that long diagonal from the A8 to H1 diagonal and try to stop the queening. Is that it?
Yes, but white has a resource in E4.
Ooh.
Check.
That's nasty.
Well, you play E5, it still controls D5. The pawn will control D5, which is a critical square for the bishop. So you might as well take the pawn.
Right.
And of course, we couldn't win the foot race between the two pawns as white queens before black queens on the same diagonal.
So you come in here, and now you're going to stop them all of a sudden.
Looks like you're doing all right. It's a shame the king's on a white square now.
Whoops.
Whoops. Yeah.
C4, and suddenly the bishop's in trouble now.
Oh, yes. I was robbed. I had a full point here.
You were going to win this one, and no, you're not, because now the king's going to step in.
And it's back and forth.
And this is a draw.
It's a draw.
Boy, I was robbed, man.
I was robbed.
Well, let's go to our last example here then. And let's pull this one up. Let's talk about this one for a second.
This is the classic bishop the wrong color on the rook file. Obviously, we're a bishop up, and we've got a rook pawn and a bishop of the wrong color. We'd like to have a bishop on the white squares. It'd be an easy win at Garter queening square.
Yeah.
But, we've got our king over there. If we ever can shoulder in with our king and control A8, we've got it made. Now Black says, I don't want to get too aggressive. I need my king to go to the A8 square to hold this draw.
Right.
So let's just try to mix it a little bit and do two things. We'll hang in the area and we'll shoulder.
Okay.
So let's play KC4.
Okay, well, let's do that.
And we're going to be robbed because KC4 doesn't work. Let's see how it doesn't work. All of a sudden, we come to the realization that we can't make it behind the white king.
Mm-mm.
Notice how the bishop cuts the squares. We have to move back. White grabs our pawn. And now he shoulders us when we thought we were going to do the shouldering.
Well, that didn't work out. I got robbed again.
Got robbed. So let's do something
different.
There's a resource here. This is one of those odd creatures where instead of going to the defense and to the passivity, you're going to go ahead and go to E4, which looks like you're moving away from the situation.
Well, that looks weird.
It does look weird.
That looks very weird. So what happens out of this? The king comes in. So all I have to worry about now is that my black king has to be able to get to the A8 square before his king can shoulder me out. So that
absolutely, if you can get to the A8 square, you have the draw. This is a classic draw.
So you're going to keep moving, and now you're going to keep trying to cut him off. And there you go.
This has to be very frustrating for white. Now white's saying, I was robbed.
Yeah.
So
I got robbed. Yeah, because it just keeps on playing out, and you can go as far away from the pieces as you want, and you're still going to be able to get to A8.
And that's the beauty. If we study basic king endings, the king can with 7 moves be anywhere on the board. Yeah. Zigzag, it doesn't matter. The zigzag getting there. So it looks like we're way a ways from the A8, but. Yeah. Really, we'll zig through G6 and on to E8 and across.
Well, I don't know. Let me try something else here. So instead of playing this B4 move, let me try this. Let me try. See if there's something else I can do.
It's just not working for you as long as I go to the outside. And Kate, amazing.
I can't get there. Well, that's great.
Well, if you ever see one of these, You'll be able to say, I was robbed.
I got robbed.
At least you know a little about it. You've seen it before.
Well, anyway, thanks, Chuck. I appreciate your time. And for those of you who want to come over here and watch the podcast, we're always here Friday nights at the Tulsa Chess Club at Borders Books and Cafe, 81st and Yale. And thanks again, Chuck. And
You're
pleasant
welcome.
chess to all. All right.